All right, so I'm here with SevnDeep. How you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's your birthday and everything?
It was eventful and relaxing and everything that it needed to be.
That's good. I saw you just put out a song with I can't think of his name, but it's like I think it's Get High's name of the song. Or
Yeah, his name is Johnny. Yeah, really, really
okay,
good song. I love it.
all right. Y'all doing a video for that? Or
It looks like we are. The people have spoken. I think that's one of their favorites off of his EP. So yeah.
okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Uh, well, if you're ready, we can go ahead and get started.
Yes, let's do it. I'm excited.
All right, let me do a quick introduction, and we just get into it. Um, I've watched other interviews with you. I know that you grew up around the DMV area, I think Richmond, Virginia specifically. How did that impact you and influence you growing up, and influence you as an artist?
A lot of great artists come from Virginia. So you have like Missy and Pharrell and Trey Songz and Chris Brown. Just a lot of artists that come from Virginia. And my dad, he's from New York, but we grew up, like I said, we grew up in Richmond. He just always had me in something. I think Richmond or just Virginia is just, it's not one of those states that get known, I guess, that you really think about when it comes to creativity or rap or music. You think about New York.
It's kind of in between, you think about it, because it's not quite the South, but it's not quite the North either. So yeah.
Exactly. It's like right in between. So you don't really know, like it's not really known. You have Texas, you have Atlanta, you have New York, known really for music, but a lot of good greats come out of Virginia. And it's a big place for creativity and being free as far as trying new things. So it definitely impacted it because I would say that it's in between everything. So
You get a good mix of everything.
Yeah, exactly. You get a good mix of everything.
Right. And now I know before you started rapping, or maybe around the same time, I'm not sure, but you started dancing before you really started rapping professionally. So what do you think it was about dance that kind of spoke to you as a kid?
So my dad owned a barbershop, and I would basically be on like hair sweeping duty at the barbershop, and he always played videos. And back when in my day, when I was growing up,
mine too.
It wasn't a video if it didn't have a good dance break. It wasn't a video if they weren't dancing and they weren't pushing themselves and challenging. And even on the award shows, everyone was dancing in sync. And I fell in love with like Aaliyah and Missy Elliott and Britney Spears and these people growing up, Janet Jackson, and just seeing the choreography and just the way the music makes you feel. So naturally, I just started dancing, and that was the first thing that took off.
For why you did videos on YouTube and you dance on different people, who would you say? I guess you mentioned Janet and you mentioned Britney and stuff. So you done like any other styles outside like hip hop, or was that your main style of dancing?
I've done like ballroom dancing, like so I mean like waltzing and tango and foxtrot and stuff like that. Yeah, it was one of my coolest jobs I've ever had. I had to learn those dance moves and like kind of like teach wedding couples when they wanted that type of dance. So it was kind of cool.
Okay, yeah, all I learned in school was square dancing. So
okay.
Yeah. But going back to like people like Missy. I know it's like when you list artists that inspire you, it's like Missy, it's Lady Gaga, it's like Busta Rhymes, Madonna. These like really big personalities with like strong visual presence. And so, I mean, you mentioned choreography and performance, but outside of it, what else about them really affected you, growing up?
Honestly, just their entire presence I remember growing up and you would have a Missy Elliott. No one could be Missy Elliott. You had a Madonna. No one could be Madonna. You had a Prince. No one could be Prince. You would try to make him and Michael, but they were two totally separate people. Right. Even Janet and Michael were two totally different. And I feel like that's what I love about growing up, even when it comes to their visual. Everybody, but the videos were different. The videos were thought out. The videos had, meaning. And that's what I try to do with my music. I want people to see a theme or see treatment and think, to myself, I know exactly what he's doing. And I get exactly what he's doing. It's not just random. You know what I mean? So shout out to them, because I always say I grew up on the greats, and I really, really did.
Do you feel that's missing now in the current mainstream, or?
Absolutely missing. I think that we have some very, very like I was watching a Nicki Minaj interview, and she said, when I grew up and I was on the radio, I heard talented people. Now when people grow up, they hear popular people. And I do think that it's a very, very, the music industry has changed. I do think talent is going to come back because popularity, it fades away. You know what I mean? But I feel like talent and good music always, it brings you longevity. But I do think that that's missing in today's industry.
Probably because it's sort of flipped in a way. In the past, you had time to develop, the companies develop the artists, but now they sort of expect you to have everything together, and then they kind of like
Right.
sprinkle some cash on it. So yeah.
Exactly.
Right. I can see that. And speaking of, I guess, visuals, watching your video for Man Eater, which is a great, sort of the Blade references. The video you just put out for Go to Hell, again, strong visual thing. Sex with My Ex, same thing. You seem to draw a lot from fantasy and also a little bit of horror. So in terms of film and directors, where do you draw from there as far as inspiration? Mention Blade, but anything else? But
so I'm in love with vampires. I don't know what it is about the vampire thing. I think I used to want to be. I remember vampires are what helped me figure out what was going on with my sexuality. If that kind of makes sense. I'm the oldest of 11, so like,
okay.
there's no one else. There was no one else in my family that's like me. So I remember watching Blade or Vampire in Brooklyn, and I remember the vampires being so fluid. If you think about it, vampires, when you go inside of the vampire lair or they're having a party, it's men kissing men, women kissing women, and it's just even Queen of the Damned. It was had a little bit of bisexuality going on with the vampires, and I remember thinking like to myself, like, "Ooh, I feel funny." Like, like I kind of like this. Like I kind of like this little like situation that's going on. So they kind of helped me figure everything out. I love fantasy. I love fantasy, whatever, because fantasy helps me. I guess I'm a theater kid as well, and fantasy takes me away from all the stuff that's going on in the world. It makes you have to use your brain to think about your imagination. So I kind of brought that with me into my art.
Yeah, it reminds me of something that I heard David Bowie say in a documentary. He said he didn't want to climb out of his fantasy when he went on stage. He wanted to stay in his fantasy. And that's what,
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I kind of get from you too with your visual stuff. So yeah, I definitely see that. And then you mentioned being as you such a theatrical performer, when it comes to like maybe performing live, of course the pandemic has affected everything. But when it comes to the live show, how do you want to bring that across on stage, the theatrics?
So the theatrics, they will be brought across on the stage. I actually just did a really, really, really good performance in New York. It's going to be virtual, but it was still live. And the visuals, I cannot wait for you guys to see that. But bringing it across on stage, my biggest thing on stage is performing. Actually getting up, dancing, spacing, choreography, on your words. I like it being effective. I come from legendary performers. I was that kid that year. I forget what year it was, but it was Beyonce, Britney Spears. I think Missy Elliott and Missy Elliott, Madonna, Britney, and Christina Aguilera opened up.
03.
Oh, that was 03? That
yeah,
was 03.
Yeah.
That was like the most legendary, iconic award show. It was so many heavy hitters there. You know what I mean? And they used their imagination. They came out of the cake. Beyonce came upside down. It was like everyone knew that it was going to be so. I just feel like once I get a really, really good team, because right now it's just me. Once I get a really, really good team together, we can all bounce ideas off of each other. But the fantasy will definitely be brought to the stage.
Switching topics a little bit over to songwriting. What was the first song you ever wrote, and what was it about? What was the subject about?
Oh my gosh! So the first song that I wrote. I think it was about going to the club. I think it was about going to the club and being in the club with your homegirls. You know what I'm saying? And the bottles come in. Like, I love the club. Like I love going out. It makes you feel good. You know what I mean? Get dressed up and stuff. So I'm not really like a feelings type of writer. I like to go out and make people feel good. So I think it was about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Popular subject matter.
Yeah, popular.
Going back to theater, but more so, I guess, acting. I know I heard you mention once, I think it was an interview you did with Let Us Live. You mentioned you wanted to get into acting at some point. Do you see yourself more as like a dramatic actor, or more like a comedy, or like a combination of the two? Or
I literally can do it all. Like I love acting. So it's like whatever it called for and I got booked for it, I would make it happen. Naturally, I would want to be I'm naturally funny all day. I'm always goofy all day. So I think when I go acting, I think I wouldn't want to start with that. I would want to be more serious and try to like challenge myself as an actor. But that's just me because I love the craft, and I love the craft of like becoming someone else and actually having to put this forth on screen. I love that.
you mentioned doing theater. What theater productions did you do in school, or?
Yeah, so my dad had me in high school. I was in like advanced theater classes, so I would do like on stage stuff. And then I went to an actually specific high school designated for the theater. We have one here in Petersburg. It was directly for just theater. I've done like Annie and the regular Annie and A Raisin in the Sun and stuff like that. The real general stuff that they always that you do in high school. Nothing too big.
All right. Okay. Do you have any like dream directors you want to work with or anything like that, or any particular showrunners?
Not really. I really don't have any directors, any dream directors that because I literally direct everything. I mean, the ones off the top of my head, I love Dave Meyers. I love Benny Boom when he directs films. I love, those ones. And I'm pretty sure it's more.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's like you would fit in real with like maybe like a Tim Burton or like a
yes.
yeah, Zack Snyder, that type of aesthetic.
Yeah.
I see that for you. And I know, like, we've been putting out singles for the past couple of months, and then you put out an EP not too long ago, actually 2 EPs. So I know you put out a single today with Get High, a collaboration with I think his name's Slip of Mind, or just like quick. What's next for you in terms of music? Like a full album or another EP or?
I like the process of making EPs, and I think I do want to make another EP. And now that those 2 EPs were kind of like experiments in a way, I was started my being a musician, and I was like, I'm just gonna figure out a lot of different things and see what happens, see what works. So now I think if I did do another EP, I know exactly what my supporters like and want to hear. But right now I'm really focused on, I'm in love with like the whole singles and the visuals. People are visual. They need visuals. You know what I mean? You could literally put together the best EP in the world, but if your visuals, people just need it. It makes sense. You know what I mean? So I think that right now I wrote 3 songs I wrote 3 songs over the weekend. So they're different, but I always try to challenge myself. But I think I know I'm gonna record those this weekend and see how they sound. Because as artists, they'll be in our heads sounding a different way, but then you actually hear it and it's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna see how those sound, and then we're gonna go from there.
How would you describe like your sound? Because to me, it's like, it's aggressive, it's like it's bass heavy, but how would you describe it?
People ask me that. I'm a rock star. I always say I'm a rock star. Like, I don't know. I like this. You say I'm a rapper. I'm talking, my computer's going off. I can say I'm a rapper. I can say I like to sing. I can say whatever. But I literally am, whatever I feel like doing. I have songs singing. I have songs rapping. But it's definitely aggressive. I like heavy beats because I feel like my voice goes good over heavy beat. It's very aggressive. And it's just one of those sounds that is just, I feel like it has its own sound. I have figured out my own sound, in 2021 when everyone wants to sound alike.
Definitely something you have to work at, finding your own kind of niche and working that.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say like influenced you as a lyricist? Because obviously the sexuality is very like out front and center.
When I made the decision that I was going to talk about my subject matter, because you don't have to in this industry. You could be bisexual and talk about just one side of you and live your career that way. But when I made the decision, I said, I'm going to be super duper provocative and super duper like in your face about it, because I feel like they try to make bisexual people, gay people, whatever, people of just queer people in general, they try to not make us feel good about our sexuality when it's who we are. It's fine to embrace your sexuality. So I love how provocative Little Kim is. She was when she came out, she was super duper provocative and in your face about her sexuality. And I just kept thinking to myself, I love this about her, that she's just like, this is how I am, take it or leave it. I love how provocative Kanye West is. I love him. I grew up listening to a lot of Juicy J, a lot of 3 6 Mafia. I don't know what, but just provocative people. My family had me listening to all these people that's why now my mom and my dad, they can't say anything, because they're like, wow, okay, we did like have you listening to all these people that, if you're going to say it, don't tiptoe around. I'm really not a tiptoer. I like to talk about it. So let's talk about it.
Right. And what's the reaction been in terms of not just the family, but just like met other people like in the industry or other artists? What's the reaction been to you and like your image and lyrics?
It's funny because at first people didn't get it. I will say that at first people didn't get it. They were like, huh? But I will say that I've had nothing. God has only blessed me more than anything else. I don't even really see the negativity, because all of the positivity seriously outweighs all of the negativity that that people may say about it. I only see the positivity. There's a whole community of bisexual people, or a whole community of queer people that are missing aggressive rappers like me. We love we love the other style of rapping, but as far as me being aggressive, I've gotten way more like love from the heterosexual community and also homosexual community. So it's been nothing but love.
That's good. It's good to hear. Yes, that's because I think to me, the more people are sort of out open about who they are, the less of a novelty it'll be, the less of a thing it'll be. It'll be like a fact rather than
Right,
just
exactly.
Yeah. Last question. What are your 3 dream collaborations. They could be artists that's already passed or artists that's still living. If you could, collaborate with anybody, who would it be?
That's a good question. I would love to collaborate with. That's such a good question. It is because I really don't. I like to. I would love to collaborate with FKA Twigs. I think she is amazing. I would think we could do a real good dance scene. I think that her voice on top of my voice, and she got the soft and I have the deep. I think it'll be really, really dope. I love FKA Twigs. I love it's this guy. His name is St. John. He's up and coming. He's pretty cool. I love St. John. And another third one, we're gonna just be rapping. I wanna rap with Megan. I want to rap with Megan on the beat. Okay. Yeah, I want to rap with Megan.
yeah, NC-17.
Yeah, exactly. I got to rap with Megan because honestly, she's one of the ones that's rapping right now, and I love you.
All right, yeah. I think that's pretty much it for the interview. So thank you for coming, spend some time with me and talking to me. Where can people find you? Most importantly, where can they find you? Where can they find your music?
I'm on everything SevnDeep, but it's spelled SevnDeep. All my social media handles is that, but it's going to be an underscore at the end. Somebody stole my name. I'm going to get them kicked off when I get super famous. But it's going to be SevnDeep _. That's all my social media handles.
So I guess it's real quick. How did you come up with the name SevnDeep?
So I've been Seven. I've been Seven before, like when I was a dancer. My real name is Darrell. So I remember like when I was a dancer, I kept saying Darrell's such a corny dance name. Like you want a better stage name than Darrell. So I found Seven just randomly. The number 7 has a bunch of different meaning. I think, well, for a fact, Erykah Badu's son's name is Seven. And I remember her saying his name, and I was thinking to myself like, why is his name Seven? So I looked it up and I said, this is kind of cool. And at that time I thought I was completed. It was just a good name or whatever. And I remember it. So that I've already had 7. And I remember being in the studio creating my EP. It's this song called Last Stop Before Home. And I really use my deep, like I like to wake up and go to the studio because my voice is deeper. And I remember waking up and going to the studio and I had no name yet. And I know I didn't want to be 7 because we have 7 Streeter. And I love my girl, but I want people to be able to, differentiate us. Exactly. So I was in the studio and I was on the mic and I was like, it's just this, you have to listen to the song. It's my deep voice. And my engineer was like, damn, your voice is so deep. Like your voice is deep. And I was like, 7D? And I was like, do you like that? And he was like, and I remember I kept on saying it back and forth, like 7D. And I kept saying it back and forth. And I was like, you like that? And he was like, I don't mind it. I like it actually. Like I like it's a pretty And so yeah, now we're here.
Well, it fits. So I guess we'll wrap it up. So again, thank you for talking to me. Look forward to see what you come out with next and what you're gonna surprise us with, what you're gonna hit us with. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, real quick. If you could do like a quick record like a quick drop just for the interview.
Okay.
Yeah, just say you're talking, Afro Sensei on the Afro Sensei show.